Hey guys, Lee with LG Speed and Custom here. I bought a new truck. So as you regular viewers know, I crashed Brown Sugar, my beloved 72 Ford crew cab dually that we built. Probably half that truck has been built on this YouTube channel. The rest was built before I started doing YouTube videos. But yeah, so Brown Sugar's off the road. And I kind of want to take this opportunity while it's off the road for the collision to take that final step with it. All that's left on that truck is paint and body. So I'm gonna use this as an opportunity to finally make that happen. In the meantime, need a truck to drive. My good friend Brian lent me Eeyore, his 1991 Ford F250 4x4. Great truck, super appreciative of him lending it to me. It worked great. We went all the way to Port Alberni and back with it to get parts for Brown Sugar. And that's when we realized the trouble with Eeyore, the regular cab 91 F250. There's not enough room. It's a 5-speed, it's got a ZF5 in it, so Lux's car seat can't go in the middle because the shifter hits it. So it sat on the other side, and that whole trip there and back, Shannon spent 2 days in the middle, crunched over like this with the shifter hitting her leg, smushed around a car seat. There just wasn't enough room. And more importantly, Doris, our blue heeler, she couldn't even come on that trip because there was absolutely no way that the 4 of us were gonna fit in there. That's why Brown Sugar is a crew cab. I got a crew cab on purpose for a reason. So the alternative, I went on Marketplace and started looking around for trucks. My God, trucks are insane. I guess they have been for a few years, but like OBS Fords, 90s Ford trucks are still like 10 grand. 2000s, like a 20-year-old Ford F350 is still like $25,000, $30,000. What? Like, that's insane. So I started going older and found that they're just as expensive as well. And then Shannon found this on her Marketplace feed. I don't know why it never came up on mine. I'd been searching Ford trucks for like a week. Anyways, she found this. This is Black Betty. This is a 1976 Ford F250 Camper Special Super Cab. Although it's not as big as a crew cab, it's considerably bigger than a regular cab, and there's enough room in the back for Doris. It's an automatic, so Lux can sit, his car seat can go in the middle, and Doris has the whole back to herself. It's gonna work great. The whole family will fit. This truck, I bought it off the original family that special ordered this truck brand new, and he was driving it up until a year ago, and it was the son. The father bought it, and the son has had it for the last 20 years, and he was driving it up until about a year ago, and then went and bought a brand new Ford pickup. So he decided to let this one go. It's a little crusty, it's a little rusty. The interior smells exactly how it looks, but you know what? It's gonna get the job done. It's got a 460 cubic inch big block in it, C6 automatic, power steering, power disc brakes. It's camper special, so it's got the heavier springs in it. It's got airbags already in the back, like little air helper things. It's got a trailer hitch, which means we can tow the trailers. I've got a flat deck trailer as well as a fully enclosed trailer that get regularly towed for picking up, like we pick up project cars and drop project cars off all the time. So I needed a truck that could tow. F250, although it's not as big as Brown Sugar with the F350 and the dually, it'll work. It'll get the job done. So this, I guess, is kind of an introduction video. I bought the truck yesterday, drove it home in the dark, looked at it in the daylight. Never look at cars in the dark. Always look at them in the daylight. So I looked at it in the daylight. By the time everything happened and we got license plates and stuff on it to legally drive it home, the sun went down. So I drove it home in the dark from Sydney all the way down to Victoria, Ran great, no issues at all. Steering, it pulls a little bit. And yeah, today is day 2 with it. So I just brought it in the shop. There's a couple things. Where did I put my list? I made a list over here. A couple things I've noticed that I want to fix. Brake light switch. When I step on the brakes and take my foot off the brakes, you will notice the brake lights are still on. So we got to fix that. Next thing on the list, there's an oil leak in the front. It looks like someone recently put a fuel pump on the truck and maybe didn't get the gasket quite right. Anyways, there's oil dripping out between the block and the fuel pump. So we'll take a look at that. It really needs a lube. Like, the doors are really stiff. You gotta give them a little bit of force to close. So we'll lubricate all that stuff up. It came with a ton of parts. I don't know if they're good parts or garbage parts or anything. So we're gonna go through that. And last thing on the list is Super Cabs came with the option of having a bench seat or flip down seats on the side. This has the flip down seats on the side, which probably more room for like an adult to sit because you can sit sideways in there, but they're not big enough for Doris to sit on. I've put a wanted ad up on the local Vancouver Island Ford group looking for a Super Cab bench seat. 1974 was the first year for Super Cab, and they will fit up until 1996. They bolt in with minimal modifications. In the meantime though, I think, because I haven't found one yet, but I think we can build some sort of platform to go back there so that Doris has somewhere to sit. At least like somewhere where she can lay down and look out the window. So, along with that, we're just gonna give it a once over. Check it out, see what kind of surprises there are, see what kind of cool things there are. I don't know, it's a new truck, I don't know anything about it. Here's the original bill of sale, dated November 15th, 1975. So I bought the truck November 28th, so almost 49 years ago to the day. It's just a few days off. Look at this options list, this poor salesman. V8, 460, automatic. Nope, 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 nope. Block heater. Nope, 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 nope. Power steering, power brakes. Nothing else. Super base model. Over here we've got the original warranty identification card for it. So it's interesting, it was bought in somewhere in Manitoba. I forget where I saw somewhere on here, but it was a Manitoba dealership that sold it. And by December 29th, 1975, the truck had already made its way to Trail, BC. Up here, we've got just some directions on how to load your camper. We've got some truck specifications, just all the service specs, what to set your timing at, what it should shift at, what RPMs and speeds and stuff. Pretty interesting stuff in there. And then we've got just like a little extra VIN tag. So not sure, I've never seen an extra VIN tag like that. Not sure what that's all about, but pretty cool stuff. Also got the original owner's manual here with like all the maintenance records filled out all the way. The first one was at 1,624 miles, going all the way up to, in 2001, it had 83,000 miles on it. So it's reading 49,000 now, so it must have rolled over. I guess that's 149,000 miles that are on it now. I love when you buy an old vehicle and you find all the history out on it. It's so fascinating for me. So let's venture inside here. It's not pretty. We've got, I don't know what's underneath here. Doesn't look like much. There's definitely a hole right here. You can actually feel the spring. Feels really nice when you're driving down the road. We've got some tears in the upholstery. The seat's a little floppy. It's fine. Is the seat even bolted down? I don't know if the seat's bolted down up front. Oh, we'll figure that out. It's got some air conditioning here. So that's good. It's wintertime right now, so it's nice to stay cool. We got this great center console. Look at that. That's got some miles on it right there. All the coffees that have been in here. Screwdriver to open the hood. Because the hood latch, this is pretty interesting. Again, I think this goes back to just not enough lube. Here's our hood latch. So when we pull on it to open the hood, oh, actually it just broke right off. So the trick is, Throw that up there. If you can get a screwdriver in here and pry on it. And then, I can't do it with one hand, but anyways, that's how you open the hood on this thing. So, I guess we'll put that on the list. What else we got going back here? In the back of the truck, we've got another air cleaner, an aftermarket round one with some aluminum spray paint on it. We got another set of these West Coast Junior mirrors. It looks like that one over there has got a crack on it. These seats, I think, will flip up, or maybe they flip down that way. Oh, they go both ways. Cool. I've never had a super cab before. I grew up with Ford trucks. My dad was a big 70s Ford truck guy. So I grew up with them, but he had one crew cab and the rest were all just regular cabs. This door needs some door hinges. It came with new door hinges, so we can tackle that one day. Here's all the used parts that it came with. I don't know how much of that stuff is good, how much is not. Headliner's definitely seen better days. It matches the seat. Coming around to the other side here. Oh, that's a great sound. We've got more air conditioning on this side. Big air conditioning hole there, so we'll fix that one day. Probably won't be today. More comfortable, well broken in seats. Okay, that doesn't do anything. Usually there's just a little cable in there that pulls a little lever. So we'll fix that another day. BC Lions fan. And here's the door hinge issue. But if you close the door from up here and push up, boom, perfect. What more do you want? No radio, but does have an antenna, which is interesting. It's got a very well used dash pad. Cigarette lighter delete, which is fine. Smoking's bad for your health anyways. And who needs to charge phones? Well, that concludes the interior tour. Let's go under the hood. You know, the hood latch, I wonder if they're the same as the bump side Fords or the Audis as Shannon calls them. So the nickname for like the 67 to 72 Fords is bump side because the body line on the outside makes a little bump. And the 73 to 79 body style are known as dent sides because they've got the little dent on the side. Unless you're Shannon. Shannon likes to call them innies and outies. The bump sides are outies, obviously, which is kind of makes more sense to me. Anyways, I've got a spare hood release for brown sugar, which is a bump side. And they might work on this. I don't know. It's probably worth looking into if we can't weld this one back up. There we go. See, it pops perfect. Ah, look at that. 460 cubic inches of amazingness, awesomeness. So, rad hoses feel nice. It's got newer belts on it, or at least, yeah, both belts are pretty new. Heater hoses are nice and malleable still. When they get old, they start getting really brittle. I checked the oil this morning, and it seemed all right. This master cylinder doesn't look super old. Oh, it's definitely sealed up on there, though. Yeah, the brake fluid, I mean, it's got a little bit of discoloration, but it's not bad. It looks like it was relatively serviced soon. The brakes feel really nice on it. It stops really good. Oops, too far. It's got a Holley carburetor on it, an aftermarket Holley carburetor, which the guy that sold it to me said definitely needs some work, but I thought it drove pretty good. There we go, that's back in place. It's pretty tidy in here. How's our coolant level look? It's got the Big Camper Special Rad. Yeah, we got coolant in there. That's happy. It looks pretty good under here. It's got a newer battery. Is there a date on here? No date, but it looks relatively new. I think this is the isolator for the camper unit. So, newer battery cables. It looks like it was actually pretty well maintained. Not too bad. These West Coast mirrors have all newer hardware on it. That's kind of nice. In the back here, it's a little bit of a kerchow in the box panel up front there. I guess this is for the camper plug. Wonder if I can utilize that for, I gotta put a light plug on the back for my trailers. It has a hitch, but I didn't see a light plug back there. Yeah, I don't know, nothing crazy back here. Just normal 50-year-old truck wear and tear. It's got a pretty funky back bumper on it. Might try to find an original bumper for it, but that's, you know, pretty low maintenance or low priority stuff. Dual tanks. It's running on the main tank right now, which I'm assuming is that one. And the other one is labeled as auxiliary, which I would guess is that one. I don't know though. I haven't tried switching it yet to see if both tanks work. So this brake light switch, it was loose. There's a nut right here that tightens it, and it's actually adjustable. It looks like it's been replaced fairly recently, and it also looks like it's being kind of doctored up to make it work. So how these work is this has a switch in the end. See that white thing there? When that is released, that opens up the switch and connects you've got your power going in. It connects the switch, which makes power go out, makes your lights go on. When you release your foot off the brake and the pedal goes back to its natural position, it pushes that switch in, which disconnects it. So that's how they work. So this was loose. I tightened it up. It seemed to be working fine now. Brakes on, lights on, brakes off, lights off, on, off, on, off. Cool, well that was easy. Okay, let's get this stuff out of here. There's a mirror guy to glue the mirror on. We got a random wing nut assembly. Let's get this stuff out of here. We'll put it all on the bench and see what we got. So Mark, who sold me the truck, it was his dad that bought it, said that his dad bought all the shop manuals brand new when he bought the truck. So those are pretty handy to have. We'll hang on to those. I guess you couldn't really Google that stuff back in 1976, could you? What else do we got? We've got a wiper, right side wiper arm assembly. Throw that in there for now. These, I think, are replacement door hinges for the passenger door. Yeah, there's one door hinge there, and this one says on it, upper door hinge, 73 to 79, also works on a Bronco. So that'll be handy to get that passenger door straightened out. Extra air cleaner snorkel. My dad had a 79 Ford with a 460, and he put 2 snorkels on his factory air cleaner, and then ran some ducting down to the grill. Found what looks like the previous upper rad hose. Probably a handy thing to keep in the truck as a spare if you're on a road trip somewhere. As well as the lower rad hose and the belts. Again, good stuff to keep in the truck just as spares if you're on a road trip and blow an alternator belt somewhere. What do we got in here? That's the brake distribution block. This looks like a transmission cooler. I wonder if this has a power steering cooler on it or not. Brown Sugar had a power steering cooler when it still had the factory V8 in it. That looks like some sort of exhaust clamp. We'll probably put that in the scrap bin. Bunch of steering column bits. We've got another shifter assembly there. Looks like a signal light switch. Is this a good switch? I don't know. Who knows? That's a brand new rag joint. That's cool. What do we got here? There's a neutral safety switch. Steering wheel. No, I think this is all steering and steering column related stuff. Another signal light switch. I wonder if this truck has had signal light switch issues in the past. They seem to be working fine now. Windshield washer reservoir. Shannon noticed that the one under the hood is not there, so that's probably it. And we've got some factory hubcaps. These are steel ones. And I believe on the truck right now, oh, that one's got a story. Kerchoink. Truck's got stainless ones on it right now, so probably keep those on it. Last box, we've got a couple headlights. I don't know if these are new headlights or old headlights just put back in the box, but good things to have. Brown Sugar needs a headlight right now. There's the mirror. We've got the other piece in the center console right here, so those can go together. What's in here? Oh, is this the little magic box? Yeah, the DuraSpark box. Ford guys know, always keep a spare in the vehicle. This is similar to GM has on their HEI distributors. They got that little white module thing that sits under the distributor cap right on top. And when it decides not to work anymore, you got no spark. This is kind of the same thing for Ford. That's the little DuraSpark magic box for their electronic ignition. This might be the first year for electronic ignition. Was it 75 or 76 was the first year? Anyways, it's on the fender right here, just this little box right here. So I always keep a spare in the vehicle because when those go, they just go like that. And then boom, you're dead on the side of the road with no spark. Got a motor mount. Got a Motocraft carburetor. I wonder if that's the original carburetor off this. D6 is for 76, so that makes sense. Got some marker lights, signal light assemblies, empty box, voltage regulator. That's a handy thing to have on, keep that in the vehicle. And then, yeah, this is just all just electrical, random electrical bits. Oh, a little headlight adjusting kit. That's cool because Brown Sugar needs one of those too. Let's get this seat cover off of here next. These seat covers gross me out so much. I don't know why, they always have. Probably because nobody ever takes care of them, and I just associate them with gross trucks that are never ever cleaned out. I'm really curious to see how much of the upholstery remains on this seat. Hey, you know what? That's actually not too bad. I thought it was going to be way worse than that, but yeah, we can patch that up. Get the seat belts out. Perfect. Yeah, there's all the bolster support you need right there. Good stuff. Oh yeah. Well, Shannon's definitely gonna complain about that going down the highway. Spraying water up in her face. So part of me wants to actually fix the cab properly, put proper floor pans and stuff in it. My friend Martha last night was just like, just vice grip garage style, put some license plates in there. And as much as I hate that kind of stuff, I might do that just temporarily, just to keep the water and the mud from splashing Shannon in the face, because she really doesn't want that. And I don't want to spend too much time on this, because every minute that I'm working on this is 1 minute that I'm not working on Brown Sugar and not working on the 32. Alright, our brake light switch is done. I went around and lubed all the door hinges and handles and locks and stuff. We've cleaned it out. We've kind of organized the parts. I won't cross that off yet. I just threw them in the back. Let's do the oil leak. So there's our drip on the ground. And it appears to be coming from right there. That little gasket right there is where I saw it drip out of. So I'm going to pull the fuel pump off, clean that gasket up, and see if we can make that stop dripping. Well, it's 24 hours later, and the fuel pump leak is fixed. What a debacle that turned into. So it was just the gasket, like I thought. Took the fuel pump off, cleaned the gasket material off, put some right stuff on there, started putting it back together, and it was a bit awkward to get into. And you know, fuel pumps are awkward to begin with because the little lever that goes through puts pressure on it, so it never wants to just slide in there. You're always like fighting the spring and trying to get the bolt started. So I'm fighting with that. And someone drops in the shop, unexpected, and they're just kind of like hovering around, watching me. Oh, you need a hand? You need a hand? I'm like, no, I'm good. Just I need some space and like come back in 10 minutes. You know, that's what I needed, but I was too polite to say that. So eventually I'm just like, all right, I'm stopping. What do you want? Let's deal with this. So deal with him. It's easy. He left, but I'm all like worked up at this point and like, that stupid fuel pump. And I go back to it and I'm fighting it and I'm getting gasket maker all over the place, goop on my hands and starting to rush and get frustrated. Eventually I get it started and I grab the ratchet and I start ratcheting back on and pop! I broke it. I cracked it. It was going on crooked or binding on something and I wasn't paying attention and fighting it. So it snapped and broke. Done. Garbage. Crap. So I call a regular auto parts store. I'm like, hey Glenn, I need a fuel pump for a 460 and a 76 Ford. He's all right, click, 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 click. Ooh, sorry man, I got nothing. I can't help you on this. We got nothing. I'm like, shit. So I call the other auto parts store and they're like, we got one in Vancouver, we can have it tomorrow morning. I'm like, all right, let's do it. So that's it for the day. I wait till tomorrow morning, which is today. Call them around 10 o'clock. Hey, you got that fuel pump in? Yeah, it's down here, come get it. So I go down to the store and I grab it. The box, oh man, that box had some stories to tell. When I open it up, there's a fuel pump in it. Cool, let's go. Come back. It was nice and sunny out, so I decided to take that opportunity to not work on this, and I worked on brown sugar because it was nice out, so why not? That's, if you guys watched the last video when we worked on brown sugar and I was using the come along to pull it out, that was today. So I got as far as I could go on that. Come in, let's throw this fuel pump on. I open it up and I always check my parts compared to the parts that I took off, and sure enough, it's different. So I look up the part number on the box. It says it's for a 460. I look up the part number on the fuel pump and it's for an FE, 360, 390. I got the right box, but the wrong part. Call the store back, and they're like, oh, hey, sorry about that. We can get you one for Monday. And I'm like, no, I can't leave this sitting here Monday. I got to like work on this. I got a customer car. Actually, the 47 Ford is going to be sitting here on Monday. That's not going to work. What about just like a electric inline fuel pump, 5 to 7 PSI? And the girl on the phone, she's all like, ooh, what's it for? I'm like, it's just a universal thing. All right, hold on. Puts me on hold. She comes back quite a while later. Sorry, we don't have anything. I'm like, I know you do. I know exactly where they are in the store. I know like right on the wall behind the counter where they are. Whatever. I'm not going to argue with you. So I hang up. I call the other auto parts store. Nothing. I call Napa. Nothing. I even called Canadian Tire. They're like the last resort. Called Canadian Tire. No, nothing. There is no Ford 460 fuel pump on the entire Vancouver Island, which blows my mind. But all right, I got to keep reminding myself this is a 50-year-old truck, so not everyone's going to have parts in stock for a 50-year-old vehicle. They probably don't sell that many of them. Anyways, I'm like, I know, I got an electric inline fuel pump here. So I dig it out, hook it all up, turn the key on. It's all click, 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 click. I'm like, cool. Go to start the truck, won't start. Try it again, won't start. Pull the fuel line off the carburetor, turn the key on, nothing coming out. So I ended up going to the second store where the girl that said they didn't have any, I walked in and she's the only girl working there, and I'm like, right there, give me that one. So she gave it to me, returned the other fuel pump, and ended up getting like 56 bucks back. And I'm standing in line to pay for it up at the cashier, and I realize, hey man, this fuel pump's got like heat shrink on it that's being snipped off. And there's greasy fingerprints on it. This is also a used part. What the hell? The store's selling me 2 used fuel pumps in one day? Not cool. So I walked back over, walked behind the counter, put it down, grabbed the other one, got it in. It's all hooked up. It's not my cleanest work, that's for sure. It's sitting down there on the inner fender right above the frame rail, and I just got a big ugly hose. Like I said, it's not my cleanest work. I just had to get this done. I made a little fuel pump block-off plate on the plasma cutter out of aluminum. We've got no oil leak, and the truck runs again. Crisis averted. Holy crap. Sometimes I really hate cars. So the last thing on our list here is Doris needs a bed to sleep on in the back of the truck. So Shannon made this little blueprint yesterday. So following her blueprint, I have come up with this. She can hop in the back, and boom, there's her bed. This is just made out of some plywood that we had laying around and a couple end pieces. And then remember the parts that I had to organize? I put those in a cool little toolbox that I had, and it just sits nice and neat under there. And then we still have this whole side if somebody else wants to come for a ride. And this will flip up to give me lots of room so I can keep my straps and stuff in here, and then they'll stay nice and dry over the winter. Shannon also put on a new seat cover here, and we've got Lux's seat sitting in here ready to get buckled in. Again, like in Eeyore, he's on the far side, which means Shannon sits in the middle, and that is only because if we put the car seat in the middle, we can't flip the seat forward. So this won't be so bad to sit in the middle because it's automatic, so we've got tons of space. Also, got my Trail Boss floor mats in. These things, I had no idea these were like super cool amongst Ford truck guys, but they reproduce them now, so I found those. I was helping my friend Tim move, and he moved into his new house, and they were just laying on the floor, or on the ground, on the sidewalk in between the house and the garage, so grab those. Well, it's Monday morning. Let's put Black Betty to work. First day on the job, so I've just hooked up to the trailer. I'm gonna quickly wire up a 7-prong light plug. It's currently got a 4-prong that I don't even know if it works. So both my trailers use 7 prongs, so I'm just gonna put those on. And then we're gonna take the 57 Dodge project over to my friend Rick's place because he's gonna start the body and paintwork on it. Light plug's all wired up. We're loaded up. Let's go for a drive. Well, it's been a whole week with Black Betty. We held the 57 Dodge to Rick's place. We took the 47 Ford over to the exhaust shop. Drove it around all week. I think it's going to work out just fine. I think it's going to be okay. It's got a couple issues, but like nothing major. Just little things that we can fix and adjust. The heater switch. Got to take that up. I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to take the heater switch apart. The fan blows, go over a bump. It doesn't blow. Go over a bump, starts blowing again. Just stick your hand up behind the dash and wiggle the wires, it'll
cut in and start working. So I think that's just take it apart, fix a little connection. Gonna keep my eye out for a better seat, keep my eye out for a proper bench seat for the back, and yeah, if I see parts, I'll grab them that we can like fix it up with. But otherwise, I think this will be a good work truck to get me through until Brown Sugar's back on the road. So thanks everybody for watching. As always, merch is available at lgspeedcustom.com. Really appreciate the support, especially the last video on Brown Sugar. Everybody that went and bought a Brown Sugar shirt after the video, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Anyways, moving on. See you guys on the next video.